This is a Camtasia presentation for multimedia offering, the assignment 2. This is a development video for my Flash game developed with ActionScript 3.0. Here I'm just importing a JPEG file of a UFO, and I'm going to live trace it and convert it onto a vector image. I'm just applying a custom background or a custom fill to the image here so that I can add a custom effect to make it look like it was drawn on a blackboard. And then just crop this and export it as a GIF file. A GIF file. I've used an application called Flash Developer for the IDE instead of the Flash, the developer in Flash. There's just more features in the Flash Developer. Just creating a class here, a main class for the game, and then I'm just going to test it here to make sure it's communicating with the actual Flash file, and that's okay. Test text came up there. So I've just dragged on the GIF for the ship and given the instance name. So I'm just going to use that instance name to refer to it here in Flash Developer. Now I'm just writing some code here so we can add it to the stage and give it a key down and a key up instance. So I'm just going to make some functions here for these two instances. I first need to find out the numbers for the actual keys. So just did a trace there and got the numbers for the left and right key and the spacebar. So now you can use these numbers now to refer to them keys in the Flash Developer. So this is just saying if the key code is equal to, I don't know what key that is, it's probably left or right. Right, so that's just setting up the key down and key up properties for the keys, and this is going to be the spacebar, I think. This is going to be the actual event. So this is set in the position, and if the key press equals true, then it's going to move the ship on its X axis minus and plus 5 pixels. That's it working there. So I'm going to set up another function, and this is going to be used to actually restrict or to stop the actual ship from moving outside the screen. So this if statement is going to control that, and this is just saying if it's, this is restricting the left hand side, so it's saying if it's at the edge of the screen and half the width of the ship graphic, then just stop it moving, and then this is just going to set up the right hand side now, and the right hand side is going to be set up relative to the stage, and this is just saying this basically the same thing. There we go, that works. This class here is to generate the laser. There's a few different functions on here just to control that. That's it being tested and working. Now what I'm doing here is creating an array to store each event of the laser. I'm going to use this array so that I can keep track of all the lasers and then delete them or destroy them once they have left the stage, so that they're not they don't stay in memory, because the program would eventually crash if the user was to keep on pressing the spacebar and had generated a whole lot of laser events. So I'm just doing this by setting up a for loop to go through each of the positions in the array, and and if there is a laser event on the screen or has left the screen, then it should destroy it and delete it from the array. This class here is to generate random events of the ships, the UFO ships, and then I'm setting up a timer here to generate a ship every second from a random position, and then they push it across the screen. Is just setting up a timer here and initiating it. Then I'm going to test it here to see if it's actually working. And the timer text is coming up here at the bottom, so I can use this function now to generate a ship from the ship class every second. That's it working. Right, so I'm going to create another function. This is to check, this is a collision check to see if the laser has actually hit one of the ships. So I'm going to set up a for loop to go through the laser array and check each position, and then a nested for loop. And this nested for loop is going to check the enemy. And then within that, I can put enough statement, or set up a variable, and then set up enough statement that will check if there's been a collision, if the laser has actually collided with one of the ship objects on the screen. And then if they have collided, I can just delete it then, or destroy it, remove it from the array and the stage. And this is it, just being tested here. So now, now I'm going to set up the explosion animation, and I'm just going to import a GIF file. This was created in Illustrator as well. So that'll be converted to a movie clip, and then I'll create a class to control it, to activate it when a laser collides with one of the ships. I'm just inserting keyframes here now, moving the explosion animation slightly every keyframe until the finished animation. So that's animation finished, and then I'll go on to my program here and then start setting up a class. So here where it's actually checking if there's been a collision, I can call a class for the explosion. So while it's checking the collision, I can check whether it has to, or it can run the actual collision as well, or explosion, sorry. So that's that finished, and then now I'm just going to set up the game over screen. I just downloaded a font there, chalkboard effect font. And just change the text box to a dynamic text box so I can call it from the code. I can reference it through the code. And then I just have to import the actual text itself. So there's going to be a score, or sorry, this is a score and ammo. It isn't the game over screen. So I'm just going to set these up in the code and then initialize them. They're both text fields, and just have to set up a couple of variables too to hold the actual numbers. Then I can just initialize them here in the constructor. Then this set up a function then to update the score when a collision happens between the ship and the laser. So just need to call that function here. I had a few problems with this. It took me a while to actually get it to work properly, but I got it there in the end. It was actually these, I needed to change two of these to be public rather than private. It was these two, the actual two boxes. I had to make them public because the other classes couldn't see them. So I'm going to do the same now for the ammo. And that's just going to get reduced. Every time the laser's fired, so I'll just call it again. up here. And it took a while to actually get to work. There's a few bits of code missing here and there. And this is what was wrong. It just wasn't updating the score. And this is just going to run the check for the ammo. So that's going to check if the ammo's been fired, and if it has, it's going to reduce the count by 1. So now I'm just going to set up the game over screen. So I'll use that font that I downloaded before and just lay it over the top of the actual screen here. And then I added this code here to actually initiate that, they hide it, and then they initiate it when the game was over. So I'm going to set up a start screen. This is on a separate file, so I'll just copy these two functions, the hide and the show screen. Initiate the button. And then add a listener for the start game string. So this is how this class will be actually I added the listener down here. This is how this class is going to be called. It'll look for that string event. And then after I set up that, I just had to call the actual file. So that's what this loader's for. This is actually going to call the SWF file. That's on the same folder as the flash file. So just put the address of the file on here. And then just call the class. And this is a string that I'd set up before. And that's it, working.